Namaste friends, I hope you are doing fine. Are you struggling with establishing a connection in Python? Connecting Python to a MySQL database involves using a suitable Python library to establish the connection and interact with the database. While connecting Python to a MySQL database, you may encounter some common problems including incorrect connection parameters. Ensure that you provide accurate host, user, password, and database name values that match your database configuration. Access privileges. Make sure the user specified in the connection has the necessary privileges to access the database. Network or firewall issues. Check that you can establish a network connection to the MySQL server and that any firewalls are not blocking the connection. Incompatible versions. Ensure that the installed Python package is compatible with the version of MySQL you are using. Encoding issues. If you encounter encoding related problems, ensure that the character encoding settings of the database and Python are compatible. Missing dependencies. Verify that you have installed all the required dependencies such as the MySQL client library or other system level dependencies. Remember to handle exceptions and errors appropriately in your code to gracefully handle any issues that may arise while connecting to the MySQL database. I am Subhojit and I welcome you to our tutorial video on setting up a connection to a MySQL database using Python and effectively debugging any errors that may arise along the way. Throughout this tutorial, I'll provide clear and concise explanations along with relevant examples to ensure that you fully understand the concepts. I encourage you to follow along and try the code snippets yourself as hands-on experience is the key to mastery. I use Visual Studio Code aka VS Code for my coding requirements. You may use PyCharm or Jupyter Notebook or any of your favorite coding tool to practice along. VS Code offers several benefits that make it a popular choice amongst developers. Cross-platform support. VS Code is available for Windows, Mac OS, and Linux, allowing developers to work seamlessly across different operating systems. Lightweight and fast. VS Code is known for its speed and performance. It has a lightweight architecture, making it quick to start up and responsive even when working with large projects. Extensibility and customization. VS Code provides a vast ecosystem of extensions that enhance its functionality. You can customize and tailor your coding environment by installing extensions for specific languages, frameworks, and tools. IntelliSense and code completion. VS Code offers intelligent code completion and suggestions, helping developers write code more efficiently. It provides contextual hints, auto-completion, and documentation pop-ups which can significantly speed up the coding process. Integrated terminal. VS Code includes an integrated terminal allowing developers to run commands, execute scripts, and perform other tasks without leaving the editor. This feature enhances productivity by providing a seamless development experience. Debugging support. VS Code provides robust debugging capabilities for various programming languages. It supports breakpoints, variable inspection, step-through debugging, and other essential debugging features. To download and install Visual Studio Code, follow these steps. On your browser, go to the official Visual Studio Code website at code.visualstudio.com/download. On the website, you will see a big download for your operating system button. Click on the button that corresponds to your operating system, Windows, Mac OS, or Linux. After clicking the download button, the installer file will start downloading. Once the download is complete, locate the installer file in your computer's downloads folder or the specified destination folder. Double-click on the installer file to run it. Follow the on-screen instructions to complete the installation. Launch the application and you will see this screen. Before proceeding with Visual Studio Code, I would like to highlight a concept called an environment. To create an environment in Python, you can use a virtual environment tool called venv. If you are using Anaconda, you can use the tool called Conda. These tools allow you to create isolated environments where you can install specific versions of packages without affecting your system-wide Python installation. I'll go to Windows Explorer and I'll create a new folder named Test Python Scripts. I right-click, create new folder, test_Python or scripts. I'll open this folder, copy the address from the address bar, and in the Windows search bar, I'll type cmd to open the command prompt. And here I'll type a command python -m venv and the folder path that we copied. I'll press enter and it gives me an error message saying unable to create directory. Over here, if you see my username, it's Subhojit space Chandra, and Python doesn't like spaces. So this time what I'll do is I'll encapsulate the path within double quotes and execute the command once again. Press enter. And in the background, you will see within the folder, some new folders and a file is created. We'll wait for this to return to the command prompt. So now it is ready. We'll now come back to the Visual Studio Code window. Over here, there is an environment called tutorials that is selected. To select a different environment, I'll click on open folder. I created this environment test_python_scripts. I'll select it. And now this will change to test Python scripts. And these are the components within that particular folder. I'll click on this new file and type the name MySQL_Connect_1.py. Any Python file has the extension .py. I'll press enter. And here is the editor window. Here's a description of the main components of the VS Code screen. Activity bar. Situated along the side of the window, the activity bar consists of icons representing different views and functionalities of VS Code. The default icons include Explorer, Source Control, Run and Debug, Extensions, and Search. Sidebar. The sidebar appears on the left side of the window and contains additional views and panels. The default sidebar includes Explorer, which display the file and folder structure of your project, and other panels like Source Control, Extensions, and Outline. Editor area. This is the central part of the screen where you write your code. The editor area is tabbed, allowing you to work with multiple files simultaneously. Each tab represents an open file, and you can switch between them by clicking on the respective tabs. Integrated terminal. VS Code includes an integrated terminal at the bottom of the window. It allows you to execute commands, run scripts, and perform various tasks without leaving the editor. You can now start writing and executing Python code within the virtual environment. Any packages you install will be isolated within this environment and won't affect your system-wide Python installation. We will now move on to the next important topic called packages. A Python package is a way of organizing and distributing Python modules and related code to facilitate code reuse and modular programming. It provides a structured hierarchy for organizing Python code into directories and files, allowing for better organization, maintenance, and sharing of code across projects. Some packages are a part of the Python installation on your computer and it gets transferred to the environment that you create. For example, if I were to import the package called OS, it will do so easily because the moment I created this environment, it got transferred into this. But if I were to import MySQL.Connector, you will see that the Visual Code Editor has highlighted it. And if you hover the mouse on this particular package, it says it is not accessed in Pylance, which means even though it is installed on my system, it is not a part of this particular environment. So I'll have to install it. To download Python packages, you can use the Python package manager called pip. Pip allows you to easily search, download, and install packages from the Python package index, which is pypy.org, or any other package repositories. On pypy.org, if I type MySQL.Connector and press enter, this is the connector that is available. I can also install it from the command prompt. In the search box, I'll type cmd, run as administrator, yes. And if I type pip install MySQL.Connector, it says that the package is already installed on my system. However, since this is not present in this environment, I'll come over here in the terminal window and type pip install MySQL.Connector and press enter. On the command prompt, like we saw, it is installed on my system, but it's not present in this particular environment. So therefore, it is downloading and it is installing it within this particular environment. Got a message, successfully installed MySQL.Connector version 2.2.9. Along with that, we also got a message that there is a new release of pip installer available. This is the command which is supposed to be executed. So I'll copy this, paste it in the terminal window, and let's upgrade the pip installer by pressing enter. It will uninstall the older version of pip, that is 22.3, and then it will attempt to install 23.1.2. So it has now successfully upgraded the pip installer. We saw that this was highlighted, but now that highlighter is gone, which means this package is available in this particular environment. Now that we have imported the MySQL.Connector into this editor window, we will create a connection string. A connection string is declared in a variable, and we will type MySQL.Connector.connect, open parenthesis. VS Code editor will close the parenthesis automatically. Now we will type the parameters, host equal to local host, comma, user equal to trial 1, which is the username of the database, password equal to welcome at 123, comma, database equal to trial underscore schema. We'll press enter. Next, we will create a cursor object which will hold the connection. Connection.cursor. Next, we will add the SQL statement cursor.execute open parenthesis select star from trial underscore schema dot the table name trail underscore data. After that, we need an object which will hold all the records that it will fetch. So records equal to cursor dot fetch all open parenthesis and close parenthesis. Basically, it's a list, and we will display it in our terminal window. Print records. After that, we would want to close the cursor object cursor dot close. Then we will close the connection, and that's it. We'll try to execute this and find out if we get any errors. So I'll click on run. Now there are two options, start debugging and run without debugging. If you click on run without debugging, this will execute from the start to the end without stopping anywhere. So I'll click on it. And in the terminal window, you will see that the code is being executed. And it has given some error. So this is the error. Authentication plugin caching sh8 underscore password is not supported. Now here comes a scenario wherein you are using one package, but actually you were supposed to use a different package. So MySQL.Connector is the package which we installed, but instead we are supposed to use MySQL-Connector-Python. We'll press enter. And this is now downloading and installing the MySQL connector for Python in this environment. It has successfully installed it. If you are overwhelmed with the content in the terminal window, you can come over here, type clear, and this will become a clean slate. Let's try running this again. Now this time it says you have an error in your SQL syntax. Check the manual that corresponds to your MySQL version for the right syntax to use near .data. Okay. So the error with the caching stuff is gone. Now here the table name is incorrect. I'll just correct it with the underscore. And let's execute this again. So these are the records which it fetched from the table in the database. We can tweak this particular piece of code further. Import MySQL.Connector as MSC, and we will replace this MySQL.Connector with MSC.Connect. It works the same. We can add comments to this particular code with a hash sign. That's it. Any changes we make, it is highlighted over here on the Explorer icon, which says one unsaved file. The moment I save this highlighted part is gone, which means there are no unsaved changes in this particular window. Before we proceed, you can help me boost my confidence. Please like the video if you like the video. You can subscribe to the channel to get notified on new content. Share your thoughts in the comments section. Share the video with your friends and colleagues. Let's try creating the same code with two more packages, SQLAlchemy and Pandas. I'll click on this new file button again, and this time I'll create a file MySQL_connect_2.py. Press enter, and this opens up in a new tab. For this particular code, we will have to import two packages. In the previous code, we used import. Here we will import it in a different way. From SQLAlchemy import create_engine. So we can either import the entire package, or we can just import parts of the package using this particular statement. And the next is import pandas as ed, which is the alias name. If you notice, both of these packages are not a part of this particular environment, so we will have to install it. First, I'll clear the terminal window, and then pip install SQLAlchemy, enter. So it's downloading and installing the packages. It has now successfully installed the SQLAlchemy package. Next, I'll install pandas, enter. So it has successfully installed the pandas package as well. If we do not want to install these one by one, we can go ahead, type pip install SQLAlchemy space pandas. Press enter. Since we have already installed these in this environment, it is saying requirement already satisfied. But you can see that we can install multiple packages with a single pip install command like this. So the highlights are gone, and we can now use these packages in our code. In this code, I will store the information of the database in variables and then create a connection string out of it. When we use the engine of SQLAlchemy, there is a certain syntax which we use to create this particular connection string. We call it a database URL, and the URL should follow a format like this, which I will be entering into a comment over here. I'll just comment it out. So MySQL colon / user colon password at host colon port / database. So let's start creating it. I'll put it in a variable tnx equal to create engine MySQL plus MySQL colon / plus username. Username is the name of the variable which we have declared. Then again a colon plus password variable plus @ plus host name variable plus colon plus, now the port is numeric, which we will have to convert it into string str function and give the port variable inside it plus / plus the database, which is trial underscore schema present in the database variable. We can print this particular string in the terminal window to find if there are any issues with it. I'll put a hash, comment this out, and print the string on screen. Let's see if it complies with this over here. So run without debugging. So MySQL plus PyMySQL colon / and it is correct. So now I'll remove this comment and try running it. So it says no module PyMySQL and it gives an error. Let's install this particular module. Pip install PyMySQL. Successfully installed PyMySQL. Let's run this again. So we don't have the error to connect to the database. So con equal to tnx dot connect. Let's see if it connects. There is a huge error over here again. Can't connect to MySQL server on @123 at localhost. So here's the catch. We are using @ in this particular string for representing the host name. But before that, we have the password, and the password has @ again, which means the moment it identifies that there is @ over there, it will think that whatever is present after @ it will be the host name. But in our case, the host name is only localhost and not 123 at localhost. So we'll have to replace this @ with %40, which is nothing but an escape character. And I'll run this to see if this time it creates the connection without any problems. So now this particular error is also gone. Next comes Pandas. We will use Pandas to execute the SQL query on the database. So let's write the SQL query. SQL query is the variable equal to PD. If you remember, we just use the alias PD over here while importing the package. PD.read_SQL_query, open parenthesis, and over here we will put the SQL query. Select trial_schema dot _data, and the connection is on. Once this SQL query is run, we will get the records which we will save in a data frame. So PD dot data frame, open parenthesis, and we will pass the SQL query variable over here. Next, we would want to print the output. So we can print df, the data frame itself. And finally, there is just a connection to close. So conn dot close. Let me clear the terminal window and execute this piece of code again. So we have got this records. It's just like a preview, so you don't see all the records, but the number of rows are 2307 and the number of columns are 5. I can go ahead and print only the number of rows and columns by typing .shape after df over here. Let me clear this terminal window. And once I execute this, instead of giving me the actual records, it is just giving me the number of rows and columns. So this was the code with MySQL connector, and over here we can print length of the list, which will give us the number of records it fetched from the database. So if I execute this code, so it just gave me the number of rows. That's it. You have successfully used MySQL.Connector and Pandas with SQLAlchemy packages to interact with a MySQL database. I hope this video added another tool to your data analysis toolkit. We will meet again in another exciting video very soon. Stay tuned, bye bye, and take care.